I love you.
Love you.
I think straight away one of the things that was so compelling about the film is the very kind of unique bond between father and daughter. And I don't think it's something you see as often as you see with a mother and daughter. And I was wondering, how did you go about creating that environment on set and building that relationship so that you could do the sort of, because it's quite an intimate and trusting film for you guys to be in. How did you create that between you?
What happened?
We got 2 weeks before
Yeah.
we started filming. I think it was called rehearsal on the sheet because it was meant to be rehearsal. But I just mostly played in the pool, played pool, ate food, got gelato.
Nice.
Yeah. With me. That was the whole
Yeah,
point.
with Paul.
myself.
By
With
myself.
some guy.
Yeah.
There's some
Yeah,
guy.
Paul was away studying, well, I went away and done my own stuff.
Yeah.
We've done it together,
Exactly.
like a great
Like a
friendship
team.
group.
Exactly.
whatever it's called.
Yeah,
Friend-
whatever it's called.
Yeah.
We were a great friendship group.
Yeah, we were a great
Yeah.
friendship group.
Yeah.
I mean, I think though that it comes through on screen, right? You've got an easy dynamic, which makes the more kind of darker emotional beats hit harder as well. Because I think in particular, when you come back and the hotel room door is locked, and there's a sense of peril in a way, and then it's almost that, and then nothing really happens. She gets in, she's okay, but it's the relationship dynamic that carries the film.
Totally.
And I guess I assume you're not a father? I actually don't know.
Correct? Yeah.
So for you, obviously you're tapping into another sort of dynamic with another person. What was the research process like, or did you just kind of trust your gut?
I trusted my instinct with what it would feel like, or to imagine what it would feel like to love your own child. And I think meeting someone like Frankie made that transition really easy for me. Like, I think the wonderful surprise that I felt was that you don't normally get put in a position as a 26-year-old to be friends with an 11-year-old.
Right.
And it's kind of one of the best experiences I've had in my career as a result.
Right.
And it's why I love the job so much. So yeah, I just trusted that whatever relationship was there, what would make the father-daughter relationship feel authentic was that there was a true care between us. And I think we achieved that, and I feel like that's maybe what people are responding to in relation to that dynamic.
Did you imagine, for both of you, what your characters' lives were like back home? Because we don't really, we get little glimpses of the mom on the phone and you know, your plans that either are coming to fruition or aren't.
Yeah.
Did you make that up for yourselves as you were preparing?
Kind of, I guess. Like, I wouldn't be like on a daily basis, like, right, when she goes home, this is gonna happen and this is gonna happen.
Right.
I just sort of had an idea in my head, like, sort of what it was like with Sophie back at home with her mum.
Right.
Because she spends most of her time with her mom, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's an element of that, like, I think often in film and TV, the dynamic of heterosexual parents is always that the mom is the stern one and the dad is the fun one, and you get that dynamic. And I thought what was so interesting about this one is that it doesn't play into that, because you do get glimpses of a positive relationship between your character and Sophie's mom.
Yeah.
You know,
Totally.
there's a good a positive dynamic there.
Yeah.
Was that important to you?
Yeah, I think it's refreshing to see like separated parents, not as kind of like neither is like antagonistic. I feel like we've seen that often in films, that like it's the fun dad, and or like vice versa. I remember reading the script and seeing that Callum and Sophie's mum had a like natural rapport, and that there's genuine care between them. And I think that it is a positive position to put your child in as well. That it's like, I just enjoyed that it was kind of moving against the trope that we normally see.
And it
in
doesn't
film.
force any added melodrama too,
Totally.
right?
Yeah, it takes all those pressures and like kind of narrative crutches away. That was crutches.
It's a good miming. You can be a mime.
Yeah,
I thought when you're watching it back, you see it in glimpses as memory, right? The film reads as if you're going through these memories, and so it isn't linear and it isn't necessarily consistent, I guess. When you approached the project, did you take that the way that it would be finally constructed into account when you're approaching your character, or do you play it like this is day 1, day 2, day 3? You know, how does that work?
Yeah, like I think that's the way I would always approach it, is that like the hard part of the job is remembering what happened before, when you're like, it's all split up.
Yeah.
I think did we shoot a lot of it kind of in order? I can't really remember at this point, but
The only way I remember we didn't shoot in order is because that's why I had to wear long sleeves.
yes, true, yeah, yeah. So I think that's always the knack. But with something like this, where it's like relatively condensed, it's over 7 days. It's kind of makes those transitions a little bit easier, I think.
It's left a bit ambiguous in terms of what the future holds for both characters. Did you imagine what happened to your dad after you got on that plane?
Yeah, I think his future is less clear, less certain to him than Sophie's is to herself. So I think that I didn't think about the kind of ending or anything like that. It was more so about what is informing his behavior in private, and what does that look like when he's in public with Sophie. And that was the kind of central conflict to me. Yeah.
I think it's quite interesting too, because you see him, there's moments of him being that kind of perfect dad, and
Totally, yeah.
I was just like, I couldn't imagine being that young and being so at ease as a father, as a parent. And then you get those glimpses of also what his childhood was like.
Totally, yeah.
And I think that's...
Well, I think it's the thing that he loves being the most in the world. Like, I don't think I think he struggles with a lot of the rest of his life in terms of, struggles to really tie a job down. But I think he is an excellent father, and that's again one of those tropes that I feel like we're used to seeing the single dad being kind of ineffective, and I think he's a really wonderful, wonderful father. But again, is still a young man who doesn't really know what's going on internally, and that's incredibly upsetting to me. Yeah.